Ngā mihi mahana me te rangamaria kia koutou katoa. Welcome again, friends, to this Gospel reflection for Wednesday based on the text we have today, Mark chapter 12, verses 18 to 27. This is a fascinating text that occurs during the time after Jesus entered Jerusalem on that donkey, where he spent a few days teaching in the temple courts under the watchful gaze of the religious leaders and other authorities. And these people were well aware of him before he even got there, of his misfit band of followers and his teaching about the kingdom of God, and had been in a debate with them before this text about the bankrupt nature of the religious and political system of that day. So a distinct group from within that ruling class, the Sadducees, decide to take Jesus on. Scholars tell us that these people had no relevance beyond the privileged class of people. The general population were not interested in their way at all. Maybe they're a bit like the ACT or National Party in Aotearoa, New Zealand at the moment. They also did not believe in the resurrection or afterlife, so they come with a hypothetical situation based on a law from Moses. 7 brothers, one after the other, as each previous brother dies, marry the same woman to keep this particular law. But she produces no children for any of them. Whose wife will she be in the afterlife? The Sadducees want to know. Being part of the ruling class, these guys are more interested in maintaining their control of the world as they knew it, and intent today on making a mockery of the afterlife which they weren't interested in. These are the types of questions that wealthy people often are interested in debating, rather than issues of justice and weightier things to do with poor and inequality in our society. This is because they can divert us and control and maintain their position of privilege. These particular Sadducees, of course, had no particular concern for the woman in our story. For them, she is just a chattel or a possession to be used to maintain their patriarchal property rights by producing heirs. These interrogators are very much focused on what happens to the dead people in this story, and of course their system hinges on the succession of property. Jesus can see straight through them, and he answers them straight down the line. You guys have lost the plot. The very same Moses that you are misquoting and trying to catch me up with had an experience at the burning bush with the Creator God. He said, I am the God of the living, not the dead. The God of life is the one who guarantees our future by his faithfulness and promises, not patriarchy. In this particular moment, Jesus and Mark confront their crude materialism and desire for power and position. Their concern about class succession is turned upside down with an amazing hope that casts a vision of a world of equality and community that has no place for privilege or patriarchy. This is radical good news for the poor, for anyone battling at the margin, like this unfortunate woman in their question earlier. So this is great news, that God is the God of the living. This kingdom Jesus came to announce and live is available here and now. Don't wait to die to discover it. The world where men and women are equal is now. The world where black and white people are equal is now. The world without patriarchy and privilege overbearing us is now. It's gone. Jesus is shaming those who cling to such old ways, calling them very much mistaken. While America burns this week, may we hear and trust Christ, calling us to follow in his new way of equality and community, which is actually the same old way that the law and the prophets have always been asking us to live. Cheers, rangamaria kia koutou.